We kick things off at noon with the potential for severe storms between now and late evening.
And the weather team declaring a forewarn weather alert. We are talking about 2 separate rounds of storms. We had some this morning, but more are on the way.
Yeah, meteorologist Brian Sherman in for Ashley. And Brian, everything on the table with these storms.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting afternoon and evening, Jason and Rhonda. We have declared that forewarned weather alert as we go through the rest of the day today because we are not tracking just 1 but 2 rounds of thunderstorms as we head throughout the rest of the day. Exact Track 40 radar is lit up like a Christmas tree a little bit here with some of these first rounds of showers and thunderstorms. I'm focusing west of Metro Detroit. Those 2 boxes we've got there, those are special weather statements for strong thunderstorms, one for western Oakland County, Livingston County, and northern Washtenaw County, and one just to the south of that, which includes Ann Arbor and Washtenaw County down into northeastern Lenawee, northwestern portions of Monroe County, and stops at the Wayne County line. These thunderstorms will have the capability of producing heavy rainfall in a very short period of time, wind gusts to 40, possibly 50 miles an hour, and plenty of lightning. So if you are going to be heading outside, definitely keep an eye to the sky heading into the afternoon. 83 degrees here in Detroit, but once you factor in the humidity, it's feeling like the upper 80s as you're heading outside. So definitely an air you wear kind of day. We've got a warm front draped right across the region. That's going to be the focal point along and south of it for showers and thunderstorms, including our severe threat as we head throughout the rest of the day. Our enhanced risk, 3 out of 5 on our severe weather scale, continues for portions of Oakland, Wayne, Livingston, Washtenaw, Lenawee, and Monroe counties. The rest of the region under a level 2, slight risk for severe weather as we head throughout the rest of the day. So we keep the chance of showers and thunderstorms in today. Highs heading into the middle 80s this afternoon before dropping into the 70s by the time we get to midnight tonight. We're going to talk more about the thunderstorms, and as we were joining you here at noon, we were going to be setting up outside, but here in Pontiac, we got a really quick thunderstorm developing with some heavy rain and some lightning. So for our own safety, we've moved inside here, and we're going to stay inside here as we join you for the rest of the noon hour. Much more on the timing for today's storms through the rest of the day, and then our first heat wave coming up in just a few minutes. For now, reporting live from Pontiac and Oakland County, I'm forewarned meteorologist Brian Sherman. Jason and Rhonda, back to you.
All right, Brian, we'll see you in a little bit, and all of that makes it really the perfect time to make sure you've downloaded our weather app, the Forewarn weather app. You can check up to the minute radar. You can get alerts like when lightning is moving into your area, and of course that hour-by-hour forecast.
It is prison time for a man convicted of breaking into rapper Eminem's Clinton Township home for a second time and stalking him. Matthew
Hughes was seen on Eminem's property back in August. The problem is 5 years earlier, he'd broken into that home for the first time and even came face-to-face with Marshall Mathers and threatened to kill him. That time, Hughes was sentenced to probation and time served. This time, he'll serve between 15 and 30 years for first-degree home invasion and aggravated stalking. We've been talking all week about ramp metering. Well, it began today along a stretch of on-ramps on I-96 in Oakland County.
Yes, and they look like stoplights. You'll see them at 8 entrance ramps along I-96 at Novi Road, Wixom, Milford Roads. Shantae Passmore has a look at how the system works and why drivers can't just ignore these new signals.
Hey there, ramp meters. I want you to think of them like a traffic light signal. They're pretty self-explanatory, right? But so far we've seen just a little bit of confusion. So let's walk you through what you need to know when you come upon one of these. When you see the flashing yellow right there on your screens, this one's pretty easy. Don't have to do anything, just keep going, don't stop. So why are we seeing these and how do they work? Well, MDOT says this will help improve travel times by controlling the flow of traffic for drivers getting on the freeway. It's also supposed to help reduce crashes. Now, how do you know when the ramp meters are activated? When traffic is slow and congested, that's when you'll see the traditional green, yellow, red pattern on traffic signals. Drivers will need to form 2 lanes at that point, and when your lane gets to green, you can begin to merge. Lanes should expect to see alternating green signals. If you see a flashing yellow, again, that means the ramp meters are off. MDOT says there's no need to stop. And around 6 o'clock this morning, that is when the ramp meters went into effect. And we are told that the ramp meters are scheduled to go into operation over the next couple of weeks in yellow flash mode. Now, if you go and you see a red light, that one's pretty easy. You're supposed to stop. In fact, if you blow through one, it's almost comparable to doing so at an intersection, and that is considered a traffic violation. We're in Oakland County. I'm Shantae Passmore, Local 4.
All right, Shantae, thank you. Tracking the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, today rejected U.S. calls for surrender, including from President Trump on social media in the face of blistering Israeli strikes. NBC's Richard Engel reports from Tel Aviv.
This is a residential area south of Tel Aviv that was hit by an Iranian ballistic missile a few days ago, but search and rescue operations are still underway here. At least 6 people were killed in the initial blast, which took out all of these apartment buildings and shaved off the entire side of this tall apartment building. And subsequently, at least 2 more bodies have been found, and the operations are still underway to search for more remains. Little hope that there were any survivors here. And this conflict could be reaching now a turning point, with the United States threatening to potentially get involved militarily. And while there are calls for de-escalation, China's President Xi says both sides should work to de-escalate the conflict. It doesn't seem to be heading in that direction. Iran's supreme leader saying that any strike by the U.S. from military bases will be met with a harsh response, that Iran is now in a position to continue attacking. He says that the blood of the Iranian martyrs will not be forgotten, and that Israel made a huge mistake and, quote, will be punished. But despite those threats from the Iran supreme leader, apparently his response to President Trump's call for an absolute surrender, him clearly rejecting it, Iran's military capability is getting weaker by the day. We're not seeing as many incoming Iranian missile strikes as we did in the initial days. They are still firing salvos of missiles. They are still firing barrages every single day, often several times a day. But they are smaller than before, most of them being shot down. But if the U.S. does get involved, this conflict would reach a turning point.
All right, Richard Engel reporting there from the Middle East. A Detroit firefighter could end up losing his job for failing an alcohol test after he crashed a fire truck. We're told the firefighter's blood alcohol level was below the legal limit, but the department has a zero tolerance policy. The crash was last week near West Chicago and Dexter. The truck hit another car in that crash, injuring a woman. She is expected to be okay. Our Karen Drew's taking a closer look at allegations flying around the entire department, and you can take a deep dive on that at clickondetroit.com. You can also hear what leaders of the department are saying about misconduct allegations.